It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first ever stout for the Krups, the sub beer machine. I have the compact, but of course these Torps work with all of the, well, there's two different Krups machines. You've got the original Krups machine, the sub, and then you've got the sub compact, which I have, but this will work with the two systems. It's the first ever stout. I'm really excited to get this out then into the machine. So as always, what you do, you've got a line, a beer line with each Torp. That Torp, that line goes into the top of the Torp, and then you simply click it in like that. It is the Wild Beer Company's Millionaire Salted Caramel and Chocolate Stout. I'm really, really excited to get this into my Krups the Sub Compact, the first ever stout. Of course, I think what happened is the competitor come out with a Magic Rock Dark Art Stout, and there was all sorts of rumours about this stout, and of course, why wouldn't they? Krups thought, Heineken thought, let's get a stout out too. So it's great for us consumers. The big companies are competing. We're getting more variety on our beer machines. So let's get this into our system. So what you do, you can see that, can you? It's this machine here. You open the door, take off the tap. Now I've had some Fillion triple in here, so I'm going to show you how to remove this. So you simply lift that up like so, spray beer all over your forehead, push back, and lift up, and that can go in the recycling. Chuck that out there. I've reviewed that beer. If you want to see the review of that, put it into YouTube and you'll see it on there. Fantastic stuff. So what you do is you grab the Torp here and you load it from the back. So it's got a little nipple thing on the back. You load it from the back, so you simply put it in like so. Push it down. And that clicks in there. Shut the door and plug it in. There we go. Oh, I tell you what I haven't done. Lift the door, put the tap on, close the door again. So you might be able to see there's a red light on this system. Now, I'm really going to want to make sure that light goes green. I don't want to be trying to get a beer out of this system with a red light, because the Torp's been shaking around a little bit. It needs to get it down to the right temperature. What I found with the Krups is I've tried to fight it. I've tried to pour a beer with a red light before, and it's simply hard work. You've got to let this settle down. Let the light go green, and then we'll be back. We'll be back when the light goes green. Okay, we have a green light. Look, there it is, right there on the Krups Subcompact Millionaire Stout from Wild Beer Company. What I want to do first is pull some beer through the line. Right, so we've pulled a little bit of beer through the line. I'd like to do that. It just helps the beer along the way. There's less things to do for the beer to be able to get a really good pour, and I'm mindful of it because stouts notoriously, when you pour them and when you put them in a machine like this, you've got to get it right. So here we go. And there we are. There's the Millionaire. It's a salted caramel stout, 4.7% ABV. Here's a look at the beer. We've got a 1 finger tan coloured head. Really interestingly about this beer is that there was no problem at all pouring the beer. There was no... Some of the beers I've poured on the Krups have had great big kind of foamy heads and I've had real trouble. But this, you might have seen, I dropped the glass a little bit to create a head, which is probably preferred for me. What I have noticed... Oh, we've got a green light. Initially, while I was pouring the beer, you might have noticed that the light... Only for a moment, look, it's gone back green again now. The light went red, and now it's back green. But yeah, we got a good looking pint of beer here. Good levels of carb, slow moving carbonation, jet black beer in the glass. Let's get the aroma. Ooh, lots of chocolate and coffee and caramel aromas. A little bit of plum and fig and prune. That's the hops with the beer. The hops reacting and working with the roasted malt. Instead of giving kind of grapefruits and orange peels, it's giving more flavours like plum and fig and prune. It smells really good. I'm going to dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's lovely. A thick, creamy, rich mouthfeel. Roasty and toasty. What I'm going to say, there's a definite... If there was no lactose in the bottle version, there is definite the addition of lactose with this beer. You can really feel that creaminess from the lactose with the mouthfeel. That then goes really well with the roasted malt in the beer. You get the chocolate, the coffee, the caramel. Yeah, if you think of the roasted malt, very much the same as roasting coffee beans, where a coffee bean will be green. They roast it, of course, it goes black. The same with malt. The malt goes one end, it goes into the roasting system, one end golden, comes out the other side all roasted and toasted, and you get bitter dark chocolate, roasted coffee flavours, and a little bit of sweet caramel, because it's not all roasted malt. If you were to use 100% roasted malt in a beer like this, it would be far too astringent. So it would probably only be around 7% maximum. Of the total malt build, it'll be 97% light, crisp, golden malts, if you like. And then the other malt, that 7% maximum, would be the roasted malt. And just that 7% alone is enough to give the colour, the jet black colour, the coffee, the chocolate, the caramel flavours. And then you get that plum and fig and prune on the back end. A spiciness, a pepperiness. It really is a lovely stout. The question is, and the question you'll all want to know, is how does it compare with the Dark Art Stout on the Phillips Perfect Draft we reviewed just a week or two ago? The Dark Art Stout was 6% ABV. This is 4.7% ABV. So it's a little lighter on the body. For me though, it's got a beautiful rounded creamy richness to it. It's a better beer than the bottle. I must admit I prefer this on the Krups the Subcompact than I would in the bottle. Of course, keg beer is, for me, is the way to go these days. It's created a beautiful bit of lacing look on the glass. Look as I rock the beer back and forth, you can see that carbonation chasing the head up the glass. My only criticism, and I think this is going to be ironed out, there's talk of a smart version of this Krups the Subcompact. A smart Krups. I hope that's the case, and I hope what comes with the smart version, the upgrade that makes it smart, is temperature control. If they could make one of these £130 machines with temperature control added to the system, I would knock the temperature for this stout to about 8 degrees. Between 8 and 9 degrees would be my perfect temperature to drink the stout. My only criticism for the stout that I have in my hand today is that it's a little bit too cold for a stout. It chills it down to 3 degrees. You're going to get, I talked about the roastiness, the toastiness earlier on. It's impressive that you're getting a lot of roastiness and toastiness when the beer's down to 3 degrees. But just think of that added flavour you would get if you were to just leave this beer on the bar for 20 minutes and let it warm up a little bit. You would definitely get more of a hop presence. You would definitely get much more of a roasted malt and a malt presence in this beer. But it's still pretty good. It's a small criticism, I think. It's still a very, very good beer. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm really pleased I picked it up. I think I paid with delivery. I got 2 torps in. I bought a Delirium Tremens torp, and I got this torp on the Perfect Draft. With delivery for the 2 torps, it came in about £44. So it's probably about £18 for the torp of the stout. If, of course, Beowulf have any in stock. Check out Beowulf for the torps, or your local Nisa shop. They supply all of these torps these days, and kegs, and it's fantastic really. But I'm going to rate this. Exciting times for the Krups Sub. Exciting times for these beer machines in general, because what's happening is the competition now is ramping up. Everybody's watching what everybody else is doing on these systems. It's fantastic for the consumer because the consumer wins. The demand for these machines has skyrocketed with what's happened in 2020, and as I just said, the choice that we're going to have going forward with the beers on these machines is going to be fantastic. I like this beer enough to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 beer from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!